Hi girls, now we are going to see about mean or average speed. The symbol is V bar. So V bar is nothing but the symbol for mean or average speed and is defined as the mean or average of all the speeds of the molecules. And here we are taking the velocities as V1, V2, V3 etc. up to Vn, and so you know that the average is the addition of all these velocities divided by the number of molecules, and the derivation is not given in your book, just you read the equation. The equation is square root of 8 RT by pi m, and usually if you replace R by K, capital M is replaced by small m, where capital M is molar mass and small m is mass of the molecule. And so if you consider mass of the molecule, you should replace R by K. And so here when you take square root of 8, the value is 1.60. So 1.60 square root of kt by m. This is the formula for average speed. And next, most probable speed, that is the speed acquired by most of the molecules of the gas, that is the maximum molecules will acquire this speed, that is given by the formula. Just to read the formula, no derivation. So Vmp is equal to square root of 2 RT by capital M, and if you replace R by K, you have to use M, where small m is mass of the molecule, capital M is molar mass. And you see the equation is now 1.41 square root of kt by m. So when you compare all these speeds, you are having now three speeds, Vrms, V bar and Vmp, and Vrms is usually greater than V bar, greater than Vmp, where you know mp is most probable speed and V bar is the mean speed. And so when you see the values, just you take the values leaving. So taking these values, you can say that 1.732 is to 1.6 is to 1.414, which shows that Vrms greater than V bar greater than Vmp. So usually Vrms is greater one. So this is a comparison between all the speeds. Next we shall see about Maxwell-Boltzmann speed distribution function. So the speed of each molecule is not the same. So each molecule will have different speed. So even though if temperature and pressure is fixed, the speed of each molecule is different. So here one distribution equation is given. Nv is equal to 4 pi n within brackets m by 2 pi kt square, that is the power is 3 by 2 v square e power minus mv square by 2 kt. This is called Boltzmann distribution function. And just to read the formula, no derivation is given in your book. And so here when you see this diagram, this is the graph for Maxwell's distribution function, where v is the speed is along x-axis and the number of molecules is along y-axis. And so here at a lower temperature region, that is at a lower speeds, the graph is parabolic, whereas at a higher speeds the graph is exponential. That is the main thing you should understand. That is Vmp is most probable speed. After reaching the most probable speed, the nature of the graph is exponential, but initially the graph is parabolic in nature. So here we are considering a very small speed dv, that is if the speed varies from v to v plus dv, you have to integrate this equation. So integrate between the limits v to v plus dv. So you have to write this formula, that is Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution function for getting the entire area. And usually the area will give you the total number of gas molecules in the system. And when you see here, there are two graphs given. And so here one graph is for a temperature 300 Kelvin and other is for 900 Kelvin. So here the peak is shifted towards the right. So if the temperature is increased, the peak is shifted towards the right, and however for the two curves the area is remaining constant, because the number of molecules is constant for both the temperature. So here also you can understand that that is the most probable speed is less than the RMS speed. So this is the graph for the comparison between the two temperatures, that is T is equal to 300 Kelvin and T is equal to 900 Kelvin. And next we are going to see about degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom means, suppose if you define if that is any position or configuration of thermodynamical system, how many coordinates are required. So that will give you the degree of freedom of the system. That is a minimum number of independent coordinates required to specify the position and configuration of a thermodynamical system in space is called degree of freedom of the system. That is, degree of freedom is nothing but the number of independent coordinates required to specify the position or configuration. Now we shall see the examples for the degrees of freedom. So if a particle is moving along x-axis, it has only 1 degree of freedom. So suppose if a particle is moving over a plane, it has 2 degrees of freedom, that is having x-axis and y-axis. Whereas in space it has 3 degrees of freedom, x, y and z. So here usually the degrees of freedom is given by the symbol f. F is equal to 3n, where n is the number of gas molecules in the container. Then the total degrees of freedom is F is equal to 3n. If there are some restrictions in motion, then that should be subtracted. So in that case F is equal to 3n minus q, where q is a number of constraints, that is restriction, and n is number of particles. And here now we are going to see about the degrees of freedom for molecules one by one. First, for monoatomic molecule. For monoatomic molecule, the degrees are 3, that is x, y and z. That is 3 translational. Translational means linear motion. So F is equal to 3. Helium, neon and argon are examples for monoatomic molecule. That is only one atom. Whereas you consider diatomic molecule, that is 2 atoms, then it is called diatomic molecule. Here there are 2 cases, one is at normal temperature and other is at higher temperature. Then that will have, first it is having the 2 point masses fixed at ends of the massless elastic spring. You can consider this as a diatomic molecule, where Cm represents a center of mass, and here this represents a rotational motion, and usually only 2 rotational motions are there, because rotating along the own axis is negligible. The moment of inertia is negligible. So only 2 rotational degrees of freedom. And so here F is equal to 5, that is 3 plus 2, 3 linear degrees of freedom, 2 rotational degrees of freedom. 3 linear means x, y and z, and 2 rotational means either clockwise or along the axis x and along the axis y, leaving the other axis, because the rotating along the own axis will not give any degrees of freedom. Whereas at a high temperature F is equal to 7, that is 3 linear motion, 2 rotational motion and 2 vibrational motion, because additional 2 degrees of freedom here is due to vibrational motion, due to kinetic energy of vibration, because due to heat the molecules will vibrate. One is due to kinetic energy and the other is due to potential energy. So here there are 7 degrees of freedom. Next, triatomic molecules, linear triatomic molecule and non-linear triatomic molecule. Linear triatomic molecule, you can take carbon dioxide. This is a structure. The carbon atom is at the center and oxygen atoms are on the either side. And here it is a non-linear, that is water molecule, and this is non-linear because this is not in a line, this is in triangular form. So it can be said as non-linear. And so here in linear triatomic molecule, you will have 3 plus 2 plus 2, 3 linear motion, 2 rotational motion and 2 vibrational motion. And whereas in the case of non-linear triatomic molecule, you are having only 6 degrees of freedom, 3 translation and 3 rotational. 3 rotational means it has having 3 mutually orthogonal axes, that is x, y and z. So it will have 3 rotational degrees of freedom, but here vibrational motion is absent. Since it is having the shape as triangular, the vibrational motion is absent here. So you are having only 3 translation and 3 rotational degrees of freedom. And next, law of equipartition of energy. That is, the energy is equally divided between the degrees of freedom. So it is called as law of equipartition of energy. This is a statement. According to kinetic theory, the average kinetic energy of a system of molecules in thermal equilibrium at temperature T is uniformly distributed to all degrees of freedom, that is x or y or z. The main concept is the average kinetic energy is equally divided between all the degrees of freedom. Here we are going to see about the law of equipartition of energy for monoatomic molecule and diatomic molecule. For monoatomic molecule, it is having 3 degrees of freedom, so 3 into half kT. So 3 by 2 kT. For diatomic, for low temperature, 5 degrees of freedom, so 5 by 2 kT. And for higher temperature, 7 degrees of freedom, so 7 by 2 kT. So similarly, for linear triatomic molecule, 7 by 2 kT, and non-linear triatomic molecule 6 into half kT either, or you can write it as 3 kT. And next we are going to apply the law of equipartition of energy in specific heat of gas. You know Mayer's relation Cp minus Cv is equal to R, where Cp is specific capacity at constant pressure and Cv is specific capacity at constant volume and R is gas constant. And so here you know gamma is equal to Cp by Cv. And for monoatomic molecule, the kinetic energy of the molecule is 3 by 2 kT. This is for a single molecule. So for a mole of the gas, total energy for a mole of a gas, 3 by 2 kT into Na, where N is number of molecules, Avogadro number. So when you multiply by Avogadro number, you will get it as 3 by 2 RT. But what is Cv? Cv is nothing but du by dt, where u is the internal energy. So d by dt of 3 by 2 RT, dt and dt get cancelled, so you will get Cv is equal to 3 by 2 into R. But what is Mayer's relation? Cp is equal to Cv plus R. So 3 by 2 R plus R will give you 5 by 2 R, and the ratio of specific capacities gamma is equal to Cp by Cv is given. Substituting Cp and Cv, you will get 1.67. And for diatomic molecule, for lower temperature 5 by 2 kT, and so here multiplying by Avogadro number, you will get 5 by 2 RT. And similarly Cv is equal to du by dt, and so when you differentiate, you will get 5 by 2 R, and Cp is equal to Cv plus R, so you will get 7 by 2 into R, and you have to find out gamma, which is equal to 1.4. Similarly, you can find out for other molecules. And so here for a diatomic molecule at higher temperature, 7 by 2 RT, then Cv is 7 by 2 R, and Cp is equal to 7 by 2 R plus R, so you will get Cp is equal to 9 by 2 into R. So gamma you have to find out, which is equal to 1.28. And next you consider triatomic molecule. For linear molecule, you proceed in the same way, you will get 1.28, and for non-linear molecule, you proceed in the same way, you will get 1.33. So here the specific capacity varies with the temperature. So initially it is believed that the specific capacity is independent of temperature, but later it was proved that the specific capacity varies with the temperature. And next we shall see about mean free path. The definition is the average distance travelled by the molecule between collisions is called mean free path. It is given by the symbol lambda. So first one collision takes place, and after some time the next collision will take place, and the average distance travelled is called mean free path. And here we are going to find an expression for mean free path. So now we are going to derive an expression for mean free path, and here you are considering only one molecule, and this is an imaginary cylinder. This imaginary cylinder is having the radius R, whose radius is equal to the collision diameter, that is the diameter of the single molecule. So the cylinder is having the radius which is equal to the diameter of the molecule, and for example for this derivation you are considering only one molecule, and the height of the cylinder is Vt. So here V is the velocity and T is the time, distance is velocity into time, so the height of the cylinder is Vt. Now so here the imaginary volume is having pi d square Vt. You know the cylinder is having the formula, the volume of the cylinder is pi r square h. Instead of R you should write a d, because the radius is equal to the diameter of the molecule, and h is equal to Vt because the distance travelled is Vt. And so if you consider the number of collision is equal to the number of molecules, then you multiply this by n, so you will get pi d square Vt into n. So what is mean free path lambda? the total distance traveled divided by number of collisions. So here Vt divided by n pi d square Vt, and cancelling V and V, T, etc., you will get lambda is equal to 1 by n pi d square. But in actual practice, all the molecules are in random motion. So this equation is modified as lambda is equal to 1 by square root of 2 n pi d square. So here from this you can say that the mean free path is inversely proportional to number density. Here you multiply and divide this equation by m. And what is Mn? Mn is nothing but density, because Mn is mass per unit volume. So instead of Mn you substitute density. So here lambda is equal to m by square root of 2 pi d square into rho. Now you take the equation, gas equation, PV is equal to n kT, or P is equal to n by V kT. N by V is nothing but small n. So here n is equal to P by kT, where P is the pressure and T is the temperature. And so substituting n in the above equation, you will get lambda is equal to kT by square root of 2 pi d square P. So from this you can say that, so you take the smell of hot sizzling. The smell of the hot sizzling will reach us easily, because as the temperature increases, the speed of the molecule also increases. Here when you see here, lambda is directly proportional to temperature from this formula. So when the temperature increases, the mean free path also increases. So the smell of the hot sizzling food will reach us very easily than the cold food. Also the mean free path increases with a decrease in pressure of the gas and diameter of the gas molecules. So here, because lambda is inversely proportional to D and P. And next we shall see about Brownian motion. Brownian motion means the zigzag path of the molecules. So when you see the dust particle in the water, they move in random directions. And because what is the reason for the random motion of the dust in the water? And that is given as name Brownian motion. According to kinetic theory, any particle suspended liquid or gas is continuously bombarded from all the directions, so that the mean free path is almost negligible. So it is continuously bombarded by all the particles in all directions. So the particle suspended will undergo a zigzag path. Totally the mean free path is negligible in such a case. So when you see this diagram, you can understand. So here the particle, the suspending particle is continuously bombarded. So the mean free path is almost negligible. Here the Brownian motion increases with increasing temperature. And also when a bigger particle, high viscosity and density is high, then Brownian motion will decrease. So here the zigzag path of the particle is very small in such a case. So any suspended particle is continuously bombarded by all the other particles in all directions. So the mean free path is almost negligible. This motion is called Brownian motion. Hope you understand, girls.